Awesome.
Right.
Thank you all. All right. So Christine, thank you so much for coming here today. My name is Alicia Hayden, and I work with the Interplanetary Initiative, and we have invited Christine and Shanisha and the team from Career and Professional Development to work with us this fall semester in developing a professional development series on working in space and getting yourself ready to potentially apply for internships or jobs after graduation. So I'm going to leave it to Christine. So thank you so much for being here.
Yay. Hi, everybody. My name is Christine De La Cerda. I am a career advisor over in Career and Professional Development Services. So I'm really happy to be joining you today. I hope the resources that I provide to you today will be super helpful in your job or internship search, and especially with space-related jobs that or internships that could be opportunities for you all. So this presentation will be shared with you from Alicia after the presentation is done, so you will all have access to all of these links. So no worries about needing to take notes or feel like you have to have all of this memorized before the end of the presentation. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If I can figure out, I have 3 screens going here, so this is going to be fun to manage these. So I appreciate your patience while I work through them. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be how to search for jobs and internships specifically, and we're also going to work on creating a powerful introduction for you to have that great initial meeting with anybody that you may be wanting to talk to. So we're going to work through that as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first, we're going to cover the powerful introduction, like I said, and then we're going to talk about challenges and ineffective search strategies, because sometimes we may be using search strategies that either A, aren't working, or B, they're just kind of the ones that we've been using for a long time and we just don't know other ones. So I'm hoping to give you some new ones today, as well as possibly ones that maybe you've tried before and stopped for whatever reason. So, and then, like I said, ineffective strategies we're going to talk about. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is networking. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about networking, and hopefully you will feel a lot more comfortable with networking by the time we're done. And with that, so the first thing we're going to talk about is career competencies. So from a show of, let's see here, let's throw it in the chat. How many people are aware of career competencies? Have you heard the term? Are you aware of it, familiar with it? Just go ahead and either give me a thumbs up or put in the chat yes or no. Thumbs up. Okay, nice. I like it. All right. Okay, good. Looks like a few of you have heard of it. So that's really, really great. I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me. So just to give some those that maybe haven't heard of it. So career competencies are those 8 competencies that employers are looking for on your resume and in those interview conversations. And these are things that maybe you don't necessarily think of highlighting on your resume because maybe you're focused on technical skills or analysis or what have you, but including these core competencies in your resumes and in those conversations will help your employer to know that you have some of these. And so critical thinking, communication, leadership, technology, career and self-development, which you're doing right now, which is great. So you already can check that one off. And then, of course, teamwork, professionalism, equity, and inclusion. And so believe it or not, we're using these core competencies every day in our life. Maybe not we're honing in on one of them every day, but every day we're using them, whether it is out in a non-work setting or in a school setting or in an employer setting. You are using these skills. We're communicating every day. Like just now, you giving me a thumbs up, that was communication. So even though it wasn't verbal, it was still communication. And so you're going to have ones that you really, really love and are great at, and others you're not going to be 10 out of 10 in all these core competencies. So don't feel like I have this list, I have to go in and make sure I have 10 out of 10 in all these, because we're always working in one area or another. So don't feel like you have to be an expert. But one of the things that you can do is continue to identify the core competencies that you're strong in, so you can communicate that to employers while you're doing those interviews and applications. So with that, So the next we want to talk about is those powerful introductions. And I'm actually going to go through an exercise with you. I'm going to put you in, do I have access to breakout groups? I think I do. I want to put you all in just two people per breakout room to go over your powerful introduction. So I'm actually going to, let's see here. I'm going to unshare this really quick. Well, we'll see how I do with this. Right now, is anybody seeing what they saw before?
No, we can see your calendar.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here now. So now can you see the powerful introductions?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. And so since I can't share this with you through email or we're not in person, I won't be able to print these off for you. But what I want you to do is I want you to go into your breakout room and I want you to maybe just write down these really quick, like on a piece of paper or maybe on your phone, and you can type it and then just say you're introducing your name. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I have experience in, my strengths are, and I'm looking for. The reason why this is super important to practice this is because when we're going to be talking about networking, this is your elevator pitch. This is you walking in, getting to know people, and being able to completely describe who you are and what your interests are to the first person you meet that's in the field that you're interested in. And it's a great conversation starter. And it's the more you practice this, the more confident you're going to get in it. And that's only going to help you get that job that you're super excited about. So with that, does everybody have these okay right now, or does anybody still writing them down? Okay, yay. I mean, I guess you could take a picture of it as well. Yes.
Would we be able to scroll up a little to see the example, please? Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. And maybe even taking a picture of it too may help. That way you don't have to write it all down. I didn't think of that until just now. Technology, the beauty of it. So I will, I'm not going to put you in the breakout rooms until you're ready. And so no hurry. I don't want to rush anybody.
I actually found it online as a link. So I'm going to put that in the chat.
That's actually a really great job. Great idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you all can continue to write it down as you were, but it also is available to you in the chat. Once you go into your breakout room, the chat will disappear for you. So if you want to grab it now,
that would be great. Thank you.
Now's the time.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do I have access to create breakout rooms? Let me see here. Breakout rooms. Here we are. All right. Sorry. Let's recreate those. How many people do we have on here? 12. So
the 12 includes all of us.
That is correct. So that is 1, 2,
so we have 9 students.
Fair enough. Thank you. So there's going to be 3 people in one room then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me move a few people around here because I have a couple of students. Move to room 3. Just making sure I have students in the rooms instead of the, okay, I think we're good now. Okay, so there will be 1 room with 3 and the rest of everybody has 2. So I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms and just a quick 5 minutes, just give yourself a quick introduction and each person exchange. Okay. All right, so everybody felt good. Does anybody want to share their experience with that? Like, were you comfortable? Did you feel like, oh, I got to work on this more? Just tell me a little bit about your experience if you would like. I know Jessica and Kevin already shared a little bit, so if anybody else wants to share.
I would hire Annika.
Oh yeah? What was it about her that made her powerful introduction so powerful?
She was able to get a lot in and have it sound very natural, and she sounded very professional
Nice.
and engaging. She moved around, but also made eye contact. She didn't look like stiff or anything like that, and she seemed confident.
Nice. Great job. Thank you for sharing that, Mariah. Anybody else want to share, either hearing it or sharing it? And if not, it's okay. We can move on to something else. No big deal.
For me, I kind of felt like the hardest part was really the what I'm interested in field. As someone that has a lot of hobbies and things that I find interesting, I felt like it was kind of hard to pinpoint it to, well, what would it be relevant for me to say situationally?
Nice. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. It's wonderful that you have so many things that you're interested in. That's actually a great problem to have. And I would just encourage you, maybe have a few different powerful introductions, right? Changing to the people that you're speaking to. So if it's for a job or internship, then you make it more relevant to that job or internship, or networking more about that company. So yeah, you can shift. So it's great that you already know that you can shift that conversation to meet the needs of what you need it for at that time. So that's wonderful. Thanks for bringing that up, Jonathan. It's a great problem to have. Love it. Well, thank you all for sharing. I appreciate it. So one of the things that we want to make sure we do with a powerful introduction is you want to identify the desired outcome of the introduction and what makes you unique. There's something about you that nobody else has that you can bring into a conversation, a job, an internship, a networking event that literally makes you stand out above anybody else. And that is what you want to do, is you want to learn how to display the unique qualities that you have that the company can't find anywhere else except with you. Because even though there's skill sets that we all share, there's something unique about you that company needs. And that's what you want to be able to describe to them. And that doing this helps you practice sharing who you are as a unique person and what you're going to be able to offer that company. So, and the more and writing it down and practicing it and saying out loud and taking notes is only going to make you that much better every single time you practice it. So it doesn't hurt to have a few of these for different subjects, for different interests that you have, similar to what Jonathan just shared, just making sure that you're able to practice those. So I hope it was super helpful. Continue to utilize the tool. So with this, we're going to go ahead and move on to challenges of job searching, okay? Because there are a lot of challenges to job searching. How do I get my name out there? How do I get my resume to be noticed for the thousands of other resumes that they're reading at this time? There is a lot of job searching challenges. So let's go ahead and explore some ways to get past those job searching challenges. So first is how to start. Then we're going to talk about experience, personality match, where to start, job descriptions versus job titles. So first, let's talk about where to start, or how to start. So first thing that you want to do is you want to narrow down your career path, which for some, we may be in that exploratory phase, right? I have so many interests. I know when Jonathan was sharing that, I relate this so much to career, because most people are not a target from, I get my degree, I have my career, and it's a completely straight line. It actually isn't a straight line at all. It's a piece of spaghetti that's completely wrapped and it goes all over the place. And it's because it's not a direct line, not typically. I'm not saying that there aren't people who get their degree and go straight to that career path, but it is a very few and far between. And so you start with doing some research and getting to know you and the things that excite you, the things that are going to drive you in the right direction. Like if I'm a people person, I need to interact with people. It's making that priority list. If you don't have a priority list, I highly encourage each and every single one of you to make a priority list. What's important to you? Do I want to work remote? Do I want to work at a company? Do I want to work with people or not people? Am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? Do I love dealing with data, math, science, whatever it is? Find out what your passions are and your priorities and make that list. Because when you go to those job descriptions, you're gonna look at it and you're like, do I even want to do this job? You may think you want to do it, but then the reality of it is completely different. And then the other thing that you need to look at is that experience. And the experience is, here are the experiences I have, and this is the job I want. How do I get this to actually mesh and match up, because maybe your experiences aren't the same. And that's where those career competencies really come into play, because those can be used across all jobs. It's just a matter of displaying them on your resume and your cover letter. So, and then the other is a personality match. Sometimes the challenge with job search is you may really want to work in that field or with that company, but then the personality isn't a match. Maybe they're too relaxed, and maybe you're one that really wants, I really need an agenda when I come to work. I need to know what I'm doing 8 to 5. And maybe it's not enough of that. Maybe it's just kind of an area where you get to explore your own schedule, and it's not black and white. And that may be a struggle for you. And so it's not a personality match. Similar with dating, right? You know, you make that match, but then you go out on that like coffee date and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is not happening again. And that's similar to companies. You're either going to match with them or you're not. And then where to start? Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of job websites out there. There's a lot of places to seek jobs, but where do you start? And we're gonna go into this a lot more detail. And then job descriptions versus job titles, because sometimes it'll say coordinator, right? A coordinator role, just to throw it out there. But then you look at it and you realize that's more management. Why are they calling it a coordinator? And sometimes those descriptions and those titles do not match. And so it's super important that you read the description of that role as opposed to the title of that role. And so that's super important. So let's keep going. So let's first talk about some ineffective search strategies. So the first one is a mass applications. So a lot of students say, okay, well, I need to send 50 resumes a week and I just need to apply. The issue with that is then you have a basic resume that doesn't have the details for that specific job. And it is totally noticeable when you have a resume come across your desk, doesn't have it, it's just an absolute no-no. It's better to apply for 5 jobs that you're super excited about than 50 that you could care less. Or just, hey, I just need a job. And it comes across, it shows in your application, in your resume, that I just applying for a whole bunch. Then the other one is the general resume. So the general resume is that I just send this to everybody. No matter what the job description is, I send the same exact resume to everybody. And you want to get away from that. You definitely want to tailor each and every single resume for each and every single job in internship search. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a little while. And then no cover letter. There are some companies that won't give you a link for a cover letter, or they won't require it, but they will leave you an area to upload new attachments or other attachments along with your resume. I highly recommend you write a cover letter for every single job, even if it's not required. And the reason why I say that is because you are going to tell them, why me? Why me and why you? Why are we the perfect match to work together on this project, in this job, whatever it is? Why me, why now? And that is what you want to express in that cover letter. And then the lack of follow-up. I can't tell you how many times people send out resumes and they've sent out so many, they kind of lose touch of and then they get a notification, oh, you have an interview. And it's like, oh, I don't even remember submitting that resume because I've submitted so many. The follow-up is super important. You know, hi, my name is Christine. I sent my resume 2 weeks ago. I noticed the job has closed. Can you give me an update? There's nothing wrong with asking a company. There's nothing wrong with showing them that you're just as eager about that job as they were about posting that job. And that's super important to make that connection with them. And then limiting yourself. Sometimes we limit ourselves and we think it can only go here. And our viewpoint is so narrow that we don't open ourselves up to other options that may be a great fit for us, but we didn't explore. And so we don't really know if that field would be a good option for us. So the exploration is super important. So now we're going to talk about some effective strategies. And some of those I've already shared, but I'm going to go into more detail. So research, research, research. And I cannot say this enough. Like literally these 3 words, the 3 times I said it is not enough. Researching is the most important part to job and internship strategies that I can possibly drive home today. If you leave with nothing else today, don't leave without realizing that researching is the most important part of your job exploration. So the thing that I love to do is I go on to LinkedIn. It is my favorite exploration tool because you can type in titles, you can type in companies, you can type in my degree, I can type in anything I want, and you have people, you have companies, you have jobs, you have job descriptions, you have everything at your fingertips, and it's free. It doesn't hurt to continue to do research. And then from there, you go on Glassdoor. You look at Glassdoor and you see, what are they saying about the company? What are their reviews? What's the workplace culture? Is this a culture I could even get comfortable with? You know, and so the more you research, the more you're going to go into you're going to be more confident in your resume because you've researched them, you know about them, and you know what they're looking for. So you're going to write that resume and cover letter more confidently the more you research. Not only that, but you're going to be ruling out things that you like and you don't like before you submit it. So you're not going in with, do I like it or not? You're going to be so much more confident with all that research that you put in. The more research you put in, the more you're going to get out of it and the more effective it's going to be for you. And then the other is read the full job posting. I cannot tell you how many times I have talked to students who were applying at jobs, and I'm just telling you, just ASU in general. One of the things that ASU is at the very bottom, the very, very bottom of the job posting says you need your date in the month and the year exactly like this. And I can't tell you how many students do not look at that when they apply to ASU. And the resume is automatically tossed aside. It could be the prettiest resume they've ever seen, but if they don't follow those simple instructions at the very, very bottom, then they're not paying attention to detail. And that employer is looking at that. You want to read the full job description and you want to save the full job description, because nothing's more embarrassing, because I've done it and I was super embarrassed. It'll never happen again, that I didn't keep the job description and the person in the interview specifically asked me a question from the job description and I didn't have it. And I literally had no answer for her. And it was a very, very embarrassing moment. So any job you apply for, save that job description, read through it, highlight it. That way, when you have that interview, you're confident going into that interview. And then what do your competencies match? So if you're a communicator, okay, so Jonathan and I were talking about that a little while ago. So if you're, no, Jonathan, sorry, Kevin, right? Kevin and I were talking about that earlier. Sorry about that. But we were talking about being a person who likes to communicate. If your competency in communication is on the lower end, but your technical skills are on the higher end, you do not want to be in a company and in a position where you're communicating with people all day long and not using your technical skills. You want to make sure your competencies are a perfect match in that job description. Am I doing things all day long that I'm excited about? Because if somebody sat me down for 8 hours and wanted me to do technical all day long, I would quit within probably the first day. I wouldn't make it because that's not a strong suit of mine. I like to communicate. And so I want to have a job where I can communicate all day. And so that is what I'm going to be looking for. So make sure that job description is a match for you. And then conduct informational interviews. We actually have a resource on our website to conduct informational interviews. That's a super great resource. I'll remind me at the end if I forget, and I'll drop it into the chat so you all can have it. But you want to conduct those informational interviews on LinkedIn and even Handshake. If you look at companies, there are people within HR and within that company that work there. Reach out to them, send them an email. They have their contact information. Send them an email. Hi, my name is Kevin. This is a job I'm interested in. Tell me a little bit more. What do you love about your job? What do you dislike about your job? If there's one thing that you would change about your job, what would it be? You're getting more information about that company and about that job than you ever would have on the website or on their company website. And that's why the more you research and the more information you get, the better for you. This is for you to get the job that you actually really want. And then ensure the company is a good fit. You know, like go on that Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a great resource for reviews on all the companies that you can possibly think of. Any company you can think about, go on Glassdoor, read their reviews. They will even have interview questions, common interview questions that this company will ask. And then you're preparing yourself for an interview on top of it. So the more research you do, the more confident you're going to be going in. And then get out from behind a computer, go meet people. Go network, go to networking events, go to career fairs. Even if you're not looking for a job right now, career fairs and internship fairs are the best way to network, and they're right here on campus. We have career fairs and job internship fairs all the time. Go to one, shake some people's hands, talk to them, give them your card, give them your resume. It could be a network builder that you weren't even thinking about that could lead you to the job that you're super excited about and your foot in the door to boot. So there's nothing wrong with continue to do that. So, and then, all right. So some of the things that I did for you all, especially with space, I kind of did a little bit of research on space related jobs and space related companies. And all these links are to some of the careers that they have at NASA, Blue Origin, SpaceX, JPL, and Planet Labs. These are careers that are happening at all of these companies right now in space related fields. I thought this was a super great resource. And then there's another one that says I got this from Fast Company, Innovative Companies in Space. That's where I got this information. And the link is also in this PowerPoint presentation that you will get at the end. So you'll be able to link on all of these careers, start exploring careers. Look into them. Do I even want to do that? When you pull it up and you look at careers and you grab the title, go over to LinkedIn and plop it into LinkedIn. Look at what people are doing in those roles. Reach out to them and talk to them. How do you like being in this role? Talk to them before you apply, because you may not like it. You may love it. Who knows? But the more you ask and the more you research, the better equipped you're going to be. So you'll have all these to look at later. And then make the most of your job search. So you want to plan it out. And what I mean by that is you want to come up with a plan of how you're going to attack this. Okay, I'm going to do, I'm going to research this many companies. I'm going to get a document and I'm going to say, okay, if I'm interested in SpaceX, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be like, here's what I researched about SpaceX, and take notes. This is what I liked about SpaceX. This is what I didn't. Here's what reviews said. And then you have it displayed. Then you make a folder for SpaceX. And then here's the research I did. And you make that plan. And then as you apply for a job in SpaceX, you put it in the same folder with SpaceX. So that way you're keeping all of your resumes and cover letters in that folder specific to SpaceX. So the next time you have a job interview or whatever with SpaceX, you have all the information for SpaceX. It's keeping it organized and you have a good plan. Personalize it. Make sure you're connecting why SpaceX. And I'm just using this because it was the one that came to my mind, but you may not even be interested in SpaceX, but personalize it. Why SpaceX? Why do I want that company? What is it about that company that gets me excited? What they're doing, their research, their whatever it is, tell them why they're so important to you. And then the organization, of course. And then track it. When you send out a resume, get a sheet. I sent out a resume on this date. This was the close date, the expectation of maybe, and then maybe the date you're going to reach out and send them a follow-up email. And just keep all of that documented so you know. So then you can keep track. Oh, I submitted that 2 weeks ago. I still haven't heard from them. It closed a week ago. I wonder why. Send them an email and ask them. Worst case scenario, you're sitting right where you are now. But best case scenario, they hear from you and then they're like, yes. As a matter of fact, we're just looking at your resume. We'll be in touch, or something to that effect. Worst case scenario, it's always better to keep taking another risk to make your chances of interviewing with that company even better. So nothing wrong with keep going. So then here's some common job search websites. So Handshake. So Handshake, when you go on and you look on jobs, there's actually a filter button that you look at all the way over to the right. You can type internships, paid internships, jobs, employment. You can search by your major. So you literally can enter in your major and search for all jobs that have that major listed somewhere in their job description. And so it'll pull up job specific to what your major is. You can search by company, you can search by job title. So if I want to be, whatever you want to be, you can put that title in there and search just by the title. And so there's lots of different search criteria in Handshake that can narrow things down for you to where you're not overwhelmed. And I recommend, because Handshake doesn't give you notices necessarily, I recommend going on like every 2 or 3 days and read the ones that are above it, because it'll continue to post on top of the old ones and you don't want to have to sift through all those old ones again. So just make note of the ones that you've seen and the ones that, are new. And then of course, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is literally one of my favorites. It's the one I share with students the most. Like literally, I've shared this with students so many times that LinkedIn has now blocked me from seeing a whole lot of people until I sign up for premium. That's how much I'm in there. Because it is such a wonderful and fabulous tool to explore jobs, explore people, look at what people are doing, look at how they got there. If you want to be in this role that you know is at the top of the food chain and you're like, I'm going to get there, look at what they did at the very bottom before they got to the top of the food chain. What roles did they have? Are you interested in those roles? And then explore those roles on LinkedIn to find out how you can get in the door. And then exploring companies. LinkedIn is a wonderful source. Indeed is good for job postings, but they're also limited. I don't find that they have a lot, but it's still a good tool if you're looking at LinkedIn and you're not getting what you need. Indeed is always going to send you those alerts when jobs post. So it's not a bad resource. It's just, I don't like it as much as LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn offers a lot more, a broad array of things that you can do with LinkedIn that you can't do with Indeed. And then of course, the specific websites. There's nothing wrong with going right on that work website and investigating careers. Some places will even allow you to alert when new careers post and they'll email you right away. So if you only want to work for one company and that's your dream company, you want to get those alerts all the time coming to your email box every single time a new job posts. So that's another way. So then the next thing we're going to talk about is networking. So before we do, does anybody have any questions? I've been doing a lot of talking. I want to make sure I'm not, skipping over any questions. Anybody have any questions about what we've talked thus far, or any comments or anything that's come to mind while I've been sharing? Nothing. Okay. Just want to make sure. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about networking. So I know earlier when I said research. So if the second thing that you could take away from this is networking, networking, because 85% of jobs, and actually I'm just going to go to the slide right now instead of talking about it without showing you, is 85% of all jobs are filled through networking and referrals. And so it's super important that you start networking now. Don't start networking a month before you want a job. You start networking way in advance, because the networks build on each other. You make a connection with one person, then they introduce you to more people, and so on. So the earlier you start networking, I don't care where you are in your career path, now is the time to start networking. I don't care if your first day was August, start networking now. It's never too early to start networking. And so start networking on LinkedIn, start reaching out to people and doing motivational interviewing, and ask them, just how'd you get your job? You don't reach out to them and say, I want a job. You reach out to them and you get to know them, and then you build that network. And then when they, you tell them a story, and then they connect to you, and then you do the follow-up with them and send them like a little note with like a little, I don't know, a little box of chocolates, and you say, thank you for your time. They're going to tell everybody in the office about it. They're going to be like, oh, I met with this student, Jessica, and we met, and they sent me this wonderful treat at the end. Can you believe that? And all of a sudden, Jessica's name is all over the office, right? And that's going to be a great networking piece. And so just remember that everything that you do, they're going to talk about. I mean, who doesn't post things on Facebook when things at work happen, right? Oh, look, I got this delivered to my office. All of a sudden your name's out there. And so just remember, everything you do gets noticed. And so start networking now. So then attend a career event. I know I said that earlier, but career events are the best way to network because it's right here on campus. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to visit with them. We have virtual career fairs and we have in-person career fairs. It is a great way to network and meet people that you wouldn't have met otherwise, and go into those breakout rooms with other students on campus, alumni. It doesn't really matter where you're meeting these people. The more people you talk to, the more people they know, et cetera, et cetera. It builds. So keep networking. So then the other way is through LinkedIn and Handshake. I just, told you all about that. This networking can always happen during LinkedIn and Handshake. Handshake will give you specific company contacts for that company that you can reach out to, including their emails. They make it really easy on you, really, really easy. So with that, so what is one thing you will do in the next 24 hours that will put you on the path to success? I want to hear from every single one of you. So just take yourself off mute and tell me one thing that you're going to do in the next 24 hours.
I'm so excited to hear your responses.
Me too.
It's a great challenge.
I'll admit I've neglected my LinkedIn for a while because I always feel like I don't have anything at the level of what I should be posting, but I suppose I'll start updating it now because it'll eventually look like I'm at that point once I've added enough.
Yay. Awesome. Love it, Jonathan. Thank you.
Same. I feel like I will probably utilize Handshake and LinkedIn more so than I have in the past.
Nice. Thank you.
I'll add on to that. I was recently reminded that Handshake existed, and so I've been neglecting that without even really thinking about it. But yeah, because also for a club that I lead, I want to get more stuff for them too, and get them on Handshake to get some stuff going. But yeah.
Nice. I love that. And look at your leadership skills that you just showed by saying, I'm going to teach somebody else about it. So great job. I love those leadership skills.
I'm going to work on my powerful introduction.
Nice.
And I guess research a few companies I'm really interested in, work on like cover letters for them.
Nice. I love it. Thank you.
I'm gonna work on my resume, which has been kind of very bad.
Working on the resume is a great idea. You can definitely submit it in the resume Dropbox that we have, or you can book an individual appointment with me and I can go over your resume with you.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Great idea.
I was thinking I could narrow down a list of 10 companies I would like to work for so I could start to build core competencies towards those employers.
Nice. I love it, Kevin. Great job.
I am going to do more follow-up even on jobs that say that they're closed, that I didn't get any contact from because I was ignoring the ones that said they were closed, assuming that I just wasn't selected, but it didn't occur to me just to reach out.
Yeah, that's a great one. I love it. Thank you.
I'm probably going to update my resume since I was planning to anyway for graduate school. And also I do want to say like the Glassdoor thing is really good because there was this company that like contacted me on Handshake and they looked really good and everything, like based on the website and everything. I went on Glassdoor and no, I would not want to work for them based on what people were saying. So definitely if you can find like current employees, what they're saying about the company, that's really a good thing to check out.
Yeah, great one. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. Anybody else I missed? I think that was everybody.
Mariah made a great point in the chat about also looking at local government, local professional, and getting signed up for local professional lists, email lists, and probably young professional lists within your city as well. I'll add to that.
Yeah, no, this is great. I was just looking at all these comments in here. It was hidden from my view, but now I see them. Yeah, thank you all. This is wonderful. Love it. All right. So with that, just know that, you know, anything that you're doing, whether it's one step, whether it's 3 steps, everything that you all have shared is a great step in the right direction towards your career. And just know that the more you do and the more you invest, the higher results are going to pay off for you. And so just keep investing that time and that energy and keep working towards it. Here in career and professional development services, I'm the career advisor, so I can sit with you and work through all of this one-on-one. So if you need help with your resume, cover letters, interview prep, or doing these job searches, we can look at them together. We can explore together. I'm happy to do that with you. And so let me provide my contact information if I can navigate this one more time. And with that, here's my contact information again. And so you can take a picture of it, but I would love to help in any of the areas that you need. We're here to support you. We're here to give you what you need. Oh, and let me put in the chat do not want to make it that big. Okay. I'm going to put that in there for you as well. Sorry. Informational interviews. I want to share this resource with you because I promised it and I remembered, which is good. Okay, so here is the informational informational interviewing that I was talking about. So this will help you with your reaching out and networking. And so I hope this is a helpful resource for all of you to utilize to start having those conversations with people that, like those 10 companies that you're going to research. These are a great way to reach out to people who are at those companies and ask them those informational interviewing. I can get it out, I promise. So with that, does anybody have any questions?
Amazing. Well, thank you, Christine, so much for coming today and giving us this information. I would like to tee up our next presentation, which is going to happen on October 14th, also at noon. I will send information out soon regarding that. Shanisha, who stepped away from this call she was on earlier, she will be presenting that day along with a NASA recruiter to talk about recruitment for working at NASA in more non-traditional ways. Because a lot of the students who are on this call, you're not necessarily going to be engineers with NASA, but there may be some other opportunities that you may not realize exist. So we really look forward to seeing you all at that particular Zoom session as well. So let's go ahead and just thank Christine again for the information. And does anybody have any last minute questions or anything else they'd like to share? Amazing. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Christine, again.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. You've been such a wonderful, I've really, really enjoyed working with all of you. Thank you for taking part in this communication and for working on your career goals. Yay, you're going to rock this. I believe in you.